real estate people, no education, no understanding of the market at all, who are trying to go and sell, and people fall for them. Crypto is widely accepted here. So it's super easy for people to transfer the money and pay for the property.
What's the typical commission? Did you pay them a commission? Is this a good place to do Airbnb investing?
Women are covered and you cannot have a say, you don't have a right. But in Dubai, you don't have taxes, so the returns are super different.
How's the healthcare here? Does everyone get healthcare? Is it universal healthcare?
When Putin came, they greeted him like, no tomorrow.
Putin came here?
Yeah.
Oh,
He
wow.
came to Abu Dhabi.
$500,000. What does that buy you as an investment? It's not like it's finished. There's so many new buildings about to be built. Are there a lot of Israelis that come here to invest in real estate?
Yeah.
They actually do something with the money.
Which is illegal.
All right, everybody. We're here, PN and Friends, in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, with a very special guest to discuss real estate here in the Emirates and cryptocurrency with my friend here, Karina.
Thank you so much for having me, Nima. It's a pleasure. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it here. So, you know, this city is really just so incredible. Like when I walk around this city and I see all these beautiful buildings and I'm like, as a real estate investor,
Right.
like, but yet it's not like it's finished. There's so many new buildings about to be built that it just seems like if you were to just step away from this city for 10 years
Yeah.
and you come back, the city's like twice as big, maybe. So as for people that want to invest in real estate here,
Yeah.
what's like the 3 benefits for someone to go through the hassle to come invest in the UAE real estate?
Okay, so let's start with Dubai as a general, right? You're completely right. There's a lot of land, and almost every 18 hours, I think there was news coming out that every 18 hours there was a new launch coming up, specifically because there's so much land and most of it is sand, right? And we're expanding. But it is a very young market, let's say, right? If we compare it to other stable markets around the world, Dubai is new. So there's a lot of adjustment in regulations, there's adjustment on the quality, etc. Most people, most of my clients, why they invest in Dubai, right, is a safe place to invest. I deal with a lot of like Russian clients, people who are politically involved. So for them, Dubai is like a safe haven to park their money and not worry about it. Second thing, I think you know, crypto is widely accepted here. So it's super easy for people to transfer the money and pay for the property. And third, I mean, lifestyle. People who come here, they usually invest for good returns, which are quite high, like 6 to 8% yearly, or they want to buy like a trophy asset and show off to their friends. So those are 3 things why people invest, in my experience.
And then like, what's like the biggest amateur mistake you see with people buying real estate here as Westerners?
Listen, again, it goes back to the whole industry. So even though I am a broker, I deal with real estate. There's a lot of real estate people, right? We have people with no education, no understanding of the market at all, who are trying to go and sell, and people fall for them. And the biggest mistake is dealing with someone who you did not do a due diligence on. So you don't know what their background is. They just come, they talk to you sweetly, they sell you something, and then 5 years down the line, you're screwed up.
So if you have a real estate broker here, what's the typical commission did you pay them a commission?
Yes, so if you are buying a ready property, the standard is 2%. The buyer always pays the commission. Sellers sometimes, it depends on the relationship. But if you buy something directly from the developer, you don't. Developers pay to the agents.
And is it like in the United States, if you purchase a new construction home, that could be a good way to get a nice profit, like a nice yield, you know, because you bought it early. Canada's similar.
Yeah.
Is it similar here?
Yes, so mostly investors come in early, so pre-launch, launch of the project. The prices are cheaper.
Yeah.
And then, you know, by the time the project is completed, that's when people who don't want to take the risk, families, they move in and they're ready to pay the premium. So it's similar to US, yeah, in Canada.
And then is Airbnb investing, is this a good place to do Airbnb investing?
It seems like a lot of people are picking up on the trend. Yeah. It is, but there's a trick to it. So what I see lately, people who are renting apartments, they're trying to do Airbnb through the rental, which is illegal. but it is a very good yield if you look at it like numbers wise. But regulations are a bit, gray on it.
Let me ask you, because my wife is German, and she's very scared to come here for our daughter to come to school.
Okay.
And as a woman, like, how do you, like, what would you say to women in the Western countries that, like, how is it here?
Yeah.
What's your experience like? Working also?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I grew up in the States, right? So
okay.
For me, coming to Dubai, like Middle East in general, I was under the impression that women are covered and you cannot have a say, you don't have a right. But honestly, I find it a bit more safe, especially with like violence and guns. I would say Dubai is a very safe place and much more safe than US, for sure. And for women, I think I don't see myself like encountering any problems being a woman and doing business, But then again, I never really was an entrepreneur doing anything on my own in US, so I could not compare it.
What city in the US?
I was in Boston and then I was in DC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I actually moved to DC when Trump became president. So that left a good impression on me.
Yeah, I lived in DC in that area for about 17 years.
Wow.
And New York about 15. New York City about 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
which was the city I lived in the longest.
Yeah.
But I live in the suburbs mostly in DC.
Mm-hmm.
That real estate market is fantastic.
I did not tap into it. I did not know anything about real estate until I moved to Dubai. I was pursuing neuroscience, so a completely different field.
Yeah.
But in Dubai, it seems like it's a widely used industry and wildly popular. So,
in the United States right now, a lot of the commercial buildings are maybe dealing with mortgage delinquencies.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of distressed assets for investors and private equity firms, let's say, that have focused on commercial real estate.
Yeah.
The yields have gotten butchered, and it's basically like a fire sale. I mean, office buildings have largely been, vacancies are just out of control at this point.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to invest in an office building in Emirates, what's the yields like? What's the vacancies like? What's the market like here with remote work and everything?
So in Dubai, it's actually different. So we split between residential and commercial, right? So commercial real estate falls under a different category of laws, regulations altogether. And I personally don't do commercials. But as far as I know, there is a huge demand for commercial spaces and not enough supply. So people are fighting over commercial spaces. But again, like it all falls down to location. So if we find a commercial space, let's say somewhere far away in JVC, down, to the sands, I don't think that would be a very profitable place. But if you pick up DIFC, that's a non-comparable thing. But again, like I have to say, I think in US it's a bit harder because you have taxes. In Dubai, you don't have taxes, so the returns are super different.
If you're a young professional, you have a family, let's say 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
What are the neighborhoods that you'd recommend are a good real estate investment to purchase property, but also have a family with kids? Like, what are some neighborhoods you like?
Like, I think downtown and Business Bay are very good for couples and young professionals who don't have kids.
Okay.
Especially if you work around. That's a very vibrant, like metropolitan vibe to it. If you go to the Palm, I think it's good if you have a lot of money and you have a family. There you can have a good property. But then you also have areas that are not very well known, like Arabian ranches, like to the outside world. So they're super good for kids. They have schools within communities, hospitals. So there's a wide variety.
Yeah, what neighborhood is that? Like, for example?
Arabian ranches, like Meydan, Shoba is amazing. You have Dubai Hills by MR, so they have one of the biggest malls in Dubai. They have King's College Hospital, great schools. So it's amazing, yeah.
And how's the healthcare here? Does everyone get healthcare? Is it universal healthcare?
I wouldn't say it's universal, but it's like you get minimum coverage by law. But if we compare it to US, personally, I think the healthcare here is not good.
I saw like there's like a Saudi German hospital right?
Yeah.
So like, do they bring people from like Germany, the United States to do specializations here? Or do
Honestly, I have no idea. I've never visited Saudi German hospital.
Yeah.
So I have no clue. But for example, King's College Hospital, they do have international doctors. But then again, the healthcare system is not there yet. Like I'm not sure why, but there seems to be less research, maybe because it's not as developed as US and
Got it.
whatever. But I find it to be much lower in quality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like if you're buying real estate here, maybe you still keep your health insurance in your country of origin.
You could, yeah. I mean, you could have it here just for backup.
For backup, yeah.
If you need something major, I would go somewhere else.
And like, what are the 5 biggest countries you find buyers for real estate here?
India is number 1.
Really?
Yeah, Great Britain, UK. Russians were quite heavy. Iran right now is picking up. Yeah, Romania is coming into the play.
Romania?
Yep. And Chinese.
Wow.
Oh, and Japanese as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So a wide variety.
Japanese.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then are they doing that as long hold, or what are they doing? They're looking for what are they like when you see in Chinese, Japanese customers? What are their investment criteria do you generally see?
So usually what I've seen so far, they come in to buy big bulks. So they would come in with big investment, big money, and they would buy like floors, and then they would exit. I don't see them holding that much. But then again, that might change with the whole situation in China and opening up again and stuff like that. But so far, it's been just quick entry, a lot of money, and good exit.
So like if you're looking to invest in real estate here and hold it for the next 20 years, would you say the UAE is looking to have a friendly relationship with the West? Do they hold that as important? Like, for example, having a good relationship with Israel, India?
Yeah.
Right. I'm just curious. Like, does this separate from like Iran or Qatar, like, or just like Syria, for example? Like, what, like for someone who's never been here,
Yeah.
right? And they're scared about war, and they're scared about anti-Western hostility. Would you say that the leadership here is generally pretty pro-West, or no?
I wouldn't say it's pro-West. I would call UAE a Switzerland of Middle East. We always say that when, I'm sorry, can I cuss on this?
Yeah.
We always say that if shit hits the fan outside in the outer world, UAE always benefits, and it keeps that kind of middle ground. I wouldn't say it's pro-West. I wouldn't say it's pro-anything, because we've seen it happening with Russia, right? With the last conflict that's been going on with Russia and Ukraine. So they said, okay, we support Ukraine, but at the same time, when Putin came, they greeted him like no tomorrow. Like he was
Putin
the sheikh.
came here?
Yeah.
Oh,
he
wow.
came to Abu Dhabi. Sheikh himself came to greet him at the plane, and even though there are sanctions, even though there are certain regulations where, for example, Russian clients couldn't buy a property holding a Russian passport, they would still maintain that kind of relationship with the higher authorities. So it's a bit of a diplomatic game that they play, which is, I think, is super smart, because at the end they don't want to risk what they've built here and their appeal to the outer world. You know what I mean? People want to come here when they have problems outside. Russians came, Ukrainians came. So they don't want to lose that ground. So I don't think they would be openly pro or anti anything.
Do you see, I've noticed that when I was at the airport, I saw flights coming in from Tel Aviv. Are there a lot of Israelis that come here to invest in real estate?
There are, but they do have, for example, I had a client from Tel Aviv, and he wanted to do financing. So banks would not really finance the properties that they want to buy. But if they have means to pay, it's okay.
Is that because they're a foreigner or because they're Israeli specifically?
Israeli specifically.
Oh, wow. So is it like certain countries that aren't able to get financing?
Yeah.
Which,
so there are sanctioned countries.
they're sanctioned countries. So is Russia like that?
Yeah.
Is Iran like that?
Case by case.
Case by case, yeah. Because there's such a large, even the native people here have a lot of Iranian ancestry.
Yes.
Yes.
One of the biggest families here have Iranian ancestors. So
Ancestry, an Arab ancestry.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because of the mixing. 30 decades, centuries.
Exactly.
Okay, so like for example, if you have $500,000
Mm-hmm.
USD
Mm-hmm.
and you want to come into this property market,
Mm-hmm.
what does that buy you as an investment?
It can get you a good investment into like 1-bedroom apartment, 1 to 2-bedroom apartments.
And what's the yield on that? Like, what could you expect to rent that out on?
Again, like we would have to look in the location. To be honest, 500,000 wouldn't get you the most prime location.
Yes.
Or it would get you a prime location but an older building. So average, I would say 6.8% yearly rentals.
So like, for example, if you're American or British,
Mm-hmm.
you come here, if it's an investment property, it's
Mm-hmm.
not your primary residence.
Yeah.
It's an investment property.
Mm-hmm.
How much can you finance on that $500,000?
Depends on your income. Do you have income here? Like, are you self-employed?
Oh,
Are you on
everything.
salary?
Yeah, everything else is good. How much could you finance there?
Up to 80%?
80%
Mm-hmm.
on an investment property.
Yes. It doesn't matter whether it's investment, personal use. They don't care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the United States, I'd say with mortgage lending, generally for commercial assets, it's about 30%,
Mm.
generally.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, there's government programs that may finance a home buyer acquiring their first home, maybe as low as, I don't know, 2-3%.
Wow.
FHA home loan, like
Mm-hmm.
basically your first home.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how it was,
For how long do they finance it for?
I mean, these are conventional
Okay.
financing.
Mm-hmm.
But in the United States, there's typically been a big push towards home ownership. But now with artificial intelligence, remote work, so much of the dynamic of what it means to have a career, you're looking at the next 20 years, you're looking at people reinventing,
Mm-hmm.
having several career changes,
Yeah.
continual education, maybe in the future, a year or two off to get new skill set, new training.
Mm-hmm.
And also like Ecuador is looking at doing a 3-day work week. I think even in Germany, they're having discussions about doing a 4-day work week. So for example, in Germany, where I have my home,
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised in the United States, but in Germany, people are routinely getting 4 to 6 weeks paid vacation,
Yeah.
right? Excellent universal health care, excellent
Mm-hmm.
colleges, schools. Taxes are high.
Yeah.
Taxes are high.
But the education is free.
Yeah, but you get something.
Yeah.
They actually do something with the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas in the United States, I fled New York because in New York, I was looking at about, if I made $100,
Mm-hmm.
let's say 40 goes to federal,
Yep.
3 goes to the city of New York,
Mm-hmm.
6 goes to maybe the state of New York. We're looking at all of a sudden, I'm paying an extra $9 out of every 100
Mm-hmm.
just to live in New York City full of violence, criminals, prostitutes, migrants.
Yeah.
I mean, what the heck am I getting?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas in Germany, I'm actually paying a comparable tax rate,
Mm-hmm.
but significantly safer for my wife and my daughter.
Exactly,
I can't,
yeah.
even if I'm with my wife and my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not Superman. I can't always protect them.
Yeah.
But when I'm not with my wife and my daughter, I'd like to feel that they can go at 5 o'clock in the evening.
And be okay.
And
And
be
not
okay.
worry about them. Yeah.
In Miami, I don't like that.
Mm.
That's the thing. Many parts of Miami, like Miami Beach, where I
Mhm.
love, I generally tell my wife around 5, 6 o'clock, don't go out with our daughter without me.
Mm.
I don't like it.
Interesting.
I get anxiety. I legitimately get anxiety. It's like it's an anxiety. And I don't really get anxiety attacks too often,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like an anxiety or a panic attack because if you see my wife and my daughter, they just look like the perfect people to rob. You know?
Mm.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like if I was a drug addict, if I was someone that needed money fast,
Mhm.
I would look for someone like my wife,
Yeah. Easy
So-
target. Yeah.
Easy. But in
Mhm.
Germany, I don't have that problem. In Canada, I don't have that problem. My dad lives in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
If I were here in the UAE, one reason I want my wife to come for a couple of weeks, because I want to get a home here,
Mm-hmm.
is I love this place. I love this country.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and I think in the days ahead, it's going to be a lot of great things coming,
Yeah.
Like I could see in 30 years from now, this city is going to be way bigger and it's going to be way more popular and a lot more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of good things coming to this country,
100%. Yeah.
And for now, the way I see it is like my friend and I were talking about it yesterday. We were in Abu Dhabi. It was like, there's so many nice parts of this country, but we don't have the violence like we do in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's
Yeah.
no hood,
Yeah. There is no, yeah.
right? Like just straight up, you get lost in that part of town and you're worried about a guy with a gun or a knife.
Mm.
It doesn't seem like here you even have police really.
Yeah. That's the thing I love, you know, about UAE. In the States, there's a big topic, right, about police and police violence in the US. Here it feels like they're here to help you. They're like, either you don't see them, or if you see them, you will never have a second thought about them, which is amazing, honestly. Especially like being a woman, and like my parents live in Kazakhstan, you know, so I'm here like on my own. It's a completely different story than US.
Does your family come visit you?
Yeah.
It's easier for them in America, right?
Exactly, yeah. That's one of the reasons they want
Yeah.
they want me here more, yeah.
And then do you go back often?
No.
No.
Not really.
They come here.
Yeah.
It's a 3-hour flight?
4 hour, yeah.
4 hour?
Yeah.
So like, I guess my last question here is really just like, what would you tell to people? Like if you were to say something to people that are really on the fence, they made money in crypto, and do you get a lot of crypto buyers?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so just people that made money in crypto, they like to come here.
Yes. Yeah.
And what's their number one reason that they like it? Why is it so popular with the crypto crowd?
Because it's easy. It's easily acceptable, right? So like developers, for example, they accept it directly. So you don't have to go through like random shady people transferring it to their wallet and then paying extra percentage and then transferring from one wallet to another. So it's easy. And I think it's the lifestyle. I think there's a lot of initiatives. There are a lot of young people. The whole vibe of Dubai, you know, the nightlife, everything is kind of priming people to come. Even if they come for a vacation, they might fall in love and buy 1 or 2 properties just to have and travel here. Yeah, I would say that's why.
And then if someone wants to buy property here in Emirates, how would they find you so you could help them?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on Instagram, or I have my own website where it's actually a bit more about real estate. You know, you can go through mortgage calculators, you can go through data analysis, all of that, and book a consultation with me.
What's the website address?
KarinaMeirman.com.
Okay, we'll get that down. All right, everybody, if you're planning on coming here, nice lady, and reach out to her.
Thanks.
Yeah.